Good afternoon, folks, and thanks for joining us. My name is Tim Wheaton, joined as always by Ash, and we are the Calf Kick Sports Podcast. And we're so excited today to have a special guest joining us from beautiful Hawaii. We have Maraya, the Samuraiya Miller. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show today.
Thank you,
absolutely.
Maraya.
Oh yeah, and thanks for joining us. It looks absolutely gorgeous in Hawaii there. So it looks absolutely ridiculous. First thing in the morning, can you give us a quick I just want to see what's going on there. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
I want to see.
Yeah, please. I'm so jealous right now.
Can I switch the camera?
I've not been abroad in 2 years. This is basically as good as it's gonna get for me.
Oh
my goodness, man! Wow,
this mountain. It's just gorgeous here.
That's crazy. Are you living there now?
I'm temporarily living here, so I'm crashing on my cousin's couch. It's literally been a fantasy, daydream of mine. All day I would daydream about, man, I wish I could just go to Hawaii and stay there for a longer period of time and train there and just really reset. And I would daydream about that for years. And then, the opportunity presented it to themselves. Well, my cousin literally called me and was like, hey, if you want to come stay here and stay here, if you're okay with living on the couch, you're free to do that. And I'm like, what? Yes, I will do that. I'm like, well, thank you so much. And so it's been like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm having so much fun out here.
Are you looking to stay and live there then?
Possibly. So yeah, I'm checking it out. I've been here for 3.5 weeks, and I'm going to be here for another 3 weeks. I wasn't actually intending on staying that long, but my family has some events coming up, and so I thought I should just stay and be with them. And yeah, I really love living out here. I feel like I fit in here. I love the lifestyle. I mean, who doesn't? It's so beautiful here. But yeah, I'm training at another gym called United, and I really like it there. I train with the 1FC champion Angela Lee, and they've been very welcoming to me, and I've been training with them while I'm here. So yeah, I'm kind of deciding if I want to live here, but I haven't decided yet. I'm taking it day by day. So.
Oh, it looks absolutely beautiful there. So you wanted to move out there for a while. You got the invitation. You planned it ahead. Do you use the law of attraction for anything else? Like, for example, martial arts. I know a lot of other fighters. Conor McGregor has talked about using the law of attraction. Is that something that you use in your life in other facets? Because it seemed to work out in terms of moving to Hawaii.
I don't know. I feel like up until this year, I've been resisting all kinds of things. Probably different opportunities would arise, and I could go for things, but I was just too nervous, or I was just, stuck in one place. And then this year has really been quite a journey for me. And I've been, being more open. And because of that, I'm getting way more opportunities. This has been probably the best year of my life in terms of opportunities and experiences. And so, yeah, I think this year I had a different mindset, and I was more open to it. So yeah, I do believe I attracted more than I usually did. So yeah.
Really, Ash?
So in terms of your fighting, I mean, you fought twice this year, in fact. So you've been really busy. How's training going? And are you looking to go back in there fairly soon or anything like that?
Yes, I do want to have another fight. So I fought twice this year. They're both my first. I turned professional this year, so I had never had a professional fight until this year. I had my first on April 30th, and then I had another fight on August 1st. And I was really busy in between those times getting ready for my first fight, and then I took a little break, and then I got right back into it, and then I took another fight, and then since then I've been training. And I want to have another fight. So I've been reaching out to different organizations and seeing if they'd be able to fly me out from Hawaii, or if I should fight in California. So I'm making calls, and I'm trying to set stuff up. I'm getting in good shape out here. I was traveling for a little while, but now that I've settled and I've been training consistently, I'm feeling good. And I really want to get in there at least one more time this year. But we'll see what happens.
At least one more time this year. So we got a pretty narrow window here. But yeah, hopefully you get a fight soon. I know you were calling some people out on Instagram. Do you want to, maybe don't say the name on the show, but is there someone you have in mind or an organization lined up, kind of ready to go already?
No, I don't have anything lined up, and I don't have anyone I really want to call out. I don't feel right calling out for a rematch because I did lose. So I don't feel like I have the right to just call somebody out. Like she has the right to fight other fights. But I hope that someday that we can rematch because I don't know if you guys watched the fight, but I was doing really well. I was killing it. And then I just made like a few mistakes. I just didn't handle some things right. And then I got caught. And so she was lucky that night. And I know that if we fought again, I would definitely beat her. But I'm not going to ask for that. If it's given to me, then I will take it. But law of attraction, maybe it'll come to me.
Absolutely. So obviously you've been very vocal about, anxiety and mental health, all those kinds of things. I think that's great that you're, bringing a spotlight to that. How do you deal with anxiety going into fights? I mean, that's a question we like to ask all fighters.
What's funny is I actually don't have anxiety about fights, which is so crazy because I have such bad anxiety and like it's like something I have to really work on every day, and it's a struggle, and I have all kinds of tips and tricks about handling it. But when it comes to fighting in the cage, I feel so calm, and it's very strange. Like all through amateur fighting, I was nervous about like someday I'm gonna get in the ring. I don't know what it's gonna feel like. It's gonna be crazy, and not many people do it because it's so crazy, And when I did it, I did my first fight, and I was like, that wasn't that bad. Like I didn't get that nervous, but I've been competing my whole life. I was a gymnast growing up, so I did all kinds of competitions, and the pressure in gymnastics is very, very high. So I'm used to competing under pressure. And then I wrestled in high school, and I feel like wrestling is such a grind that I got like tougher. And then when it came to fighting, I had competed in jiu-jitsu, competed in diving, all kinds of stuff. So it just comes second nature to me. I feel best when I'm competing. When I'm not competing, I probably feel much more anxious. If I don't have anything coming up, I have a lot of anxiety. But when I have a fight coming up, I'm able to hone in on my goals. I'm more disciplined, and then I know that I worked so hard for that moment that right before I'm about to go out there, like I'm backstage, I was surprised in my first pro fight. I was like, man, I'm still not nervous. And I told my corner, I was like, I'm still not nervous. And I was like, is that bad? And he's like, well, do you feel ready? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And he's like, well, then you're fine. I'm like, all right. So
well, your debut was fantastic. Actually, you looked like a seasoned professional. Like you just looked like, it was just going. You were just easy for you. That was really good performance.
Definitely wasn't easy. It was tough. She was tough, and
she was a tough girl. In fact,
yeah, she was really tough. She was really strong, and it's so funny. Like in the fight, you're thinking, but like your body's kind of doing things, and you do things differently than you think you would. And watching the fight back, I'm like, man, I just like straight wrestled the whole time. Like I hardly punched and kicked her at all. I just wrestled and held her down, which is like the most tiring way to fight. So I was like so exhausted. My arms were so tired.
It's a deep style smashed, man.
So, and you did mention gymnastics as well. We were looking into that. You have a gymnastics background. I know George St. Pierre talked about gymnastics quite a bit, about how much it built his strength. How much of an advantage do you think that gymnastics has given you in MMA?
I feel like it has given me a big advantage. I definitely think that maybe the beginning, I don't know how much it has affected me like now that I'm at this level, but I think starting up I had an advantage because physically I still have not done a practice that is hard as gymnastics. Like all the MMA practices I've done, all the wrestling practices, wrestling is definitely very close, but gymnastics is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And so physically, MMA training was hard, and it was hard on my body, but I was used to like the grind, and I was used to like knowing this is going to get easier if I keep going. And then gymnastics teaches you a lot of body mechanics, body awareness. So I feel like I'm able to pick up techniques pretty quickly as long as I have a good coach that can teach me. I can pick it up. I'm very technical. It helped with balance, with flexibility. So those transfer over to martial arts very well. And then gymnastics also taught me a lot of life skills and like mindset things. So I feel like as a kid, I learned how to be dedicated, how to work hard, how to believe in myself, how to face fear. So all that really prepared me to be a fighter, I think.
Oh, brilliant. I
Fantastic.
absolutely love it.
So, I mean, in terms of your gymnastics training and, just martial arts training in general, I mean, you've been very open, about having traumatic experiences growing up. How much do you feel like, the training has helped kind of overcome these issues?
Oh man, it has helped immensely. It's like a cliche thing to say, like jujitsu saved my life or martial arts saved my life, but I truly believe that. Um, and wrestling is the one that helped the most, like in the initial time. So after I'd gone through a couple years of abuse, I finished gymnastics, and I had been doing gymnastics my whole life. Since the time I can remember, I was doing gymnastics. I don't remember when I wasn't. So that was right before I went into high school, and I didn't feel like I knew who I was anymore. Like I knew in my heart I was a gymnast, but I wasn't doing gymnastics anymore. And that plus this abuse that had just happened, I just needed an outlet. I needed something to make me feel empowered, and learning how to wrestle really helped me. It was an outlet during high school when I was going through a lot of shit. That's when my PTSD started popping up, and depression and anxiety started like my junior year, and wrestling really helped me stay grounded. And then it opened many doors. That's when I started doing jiu-jitsu, then I started doing MMA, and so now I'm here.
And now you're on our show, so it worked out well. Now,
yeah.
the thing is, we had Kayla Harrison on a few months ago, and she had talked about being a sexual assault survivor from when she was a child. And now she's using her platform, and she talked about like really what my legacy is to help others in that same position. You've in the past talked about your PTSD and depression, and it's a terrible place because there are lots of other people who are still going through it. What advice can you offer these people?
There's so much I want to say. First, I'd like to say that you're not alone. I know that when I was going through some really dark times, I just felt like no one could understand, or I had nobody to understand me, or just feeling like there were other people going through what I was going through. But that's not true. There are people out there that understand, or I don't want to say understand because it's frustrating when people say, I understand how you feel. No, you don't understand, but I understand that feeling. So know that you're not alone, and know that it's okay to not be okay. A lot of people, I think, avoid. This is how my PTSD started, is I avoided not being okay. I just internalized it, and I was like, I'm a fighter. I'm so strong. I don't feel things, and that backfired. So if you accept it and accept who you are, and just sorry, it's
No, go ahead.
It's something I really care about, and I just want to. I don't like talking about my problems, but if I can help somebody, then it's all worth it. So I like to talk about it, and I just want people to know that there are people that understand and that things will get better. Try to ask for help. I know it is very hard to ask for help, but try to reach out to somebody that you love and trust. And if they don't give you the right reaction, it can be very frustrating, but try not to let that discourage you, and keep seeking help. Even if you can't seek help from somebody else, you can seek help within yourself. And just like acknowledging that you have an issue is like the first step. So there's a lot to say, but those are the main things.
No, and
That's really nice.
Yeah, and it's really tough to talk about, but it's very important to talk about because one of the biggest issues, and you mentioned it as well, is not talking about it made it far worse.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's always someone close to that people have the opportunity to reach out to, but there are always resources available as well. Do you think?
Can I say
Yeah, go
something
ahead.
about that?
Please.
Okay, so I during the time, like a few years after when I started. Well, okay, first I got diagnosed with PTSD. We didn't know what the fuck was wrong with me. Like, I didn't know. Like, it just was manifesting in all kinds of ways. And then finally, after going to a bunch of doctors, I got diagnosed with PTSD. And so I started. He basically explained to me, like, hey, this thing that happened to you, that was sexual assault. That was abuse. And it was a lot to take in and even process. And I did not feel comfortable talking to anybody about this. Like, I felt like at the time, I felt like it was my fault or like they were going to judge me. And so I didn't feel comfortable talking to anybody about it. And it's not, like I said, you need to talk to somebody. So I started going online and looking things up, and I found a couple websites that really helped me out. There's one website called RAINN, that's RAINN. And that is an organization that helps people that have gone through sexual abuse, assault, rape, incest, all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot of resources on there, and there is like a emergency chat line that you can talk. And I used it a couple times, and it was really helpful because it was somebody that I don't know, and I don't have to worry about them judging me. And they're just basically just telling you, hey, it's okay. Like, we see you, we hear you, we're here for you. And that was so helpful for me when I didn't have anybody. And then that website led me to another forum called, I think it's called After the Silence, or I think it's called After the Silence. I have to look it up. But it's a forum, and there's all kinds of different categories, but there are like categories for childhood sexual abuse, and I could go in there and I could read other people's just their thoughts. And it was a safe place for us to talk about really uncomfortable things, and like-minded people that have survived it or are going through it, they could talk to each other. And I used that a lot, and it helped me a lot throughout high school before I felt comfortable talking to anybody. So there are resources if you feel like you don't have somebody in your life that you can talk to. There's also like suicide prevention chat lines. There's so many resources now. There's even text apps that you can just text somebody and they'll have a conversation with you if you need to. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. Don't be ashamed. Asking for help is not a weakness, it's actually a strength.
And what I'll do to help out, I'll put the links for those organizations down below. So if anyone can quickly get to it, it's just down below there. And I think one thing that people don't understand about people who are going through depression or suffering from PTSD is that you're not trying to, it's hard to explain, but it's more like you're just trying to do the basics of everyday life. And there's just like a rock on your back and you can't lift that weight. You're just trying to get out of bed. You're just trying to do the dishes. You're not trying to do something outstanding and amazing. You just want to be a normal person. I don't think people understand that, right?
No, and I'm glad that you said that. I haven't really had a chance to talk about this fact. Like, a lot of people just don't understand. And like when you feel depressed, and sometimes it can come and go. It's literally an illness, and it's not because of anything. And that's the main thing people don't understand. They're like, why are you depressed? And I'm like, well, I don't have a reason. I just feel depressed right now. And they're like, so I'm like, I don't know, I'm sorry. And then I feel weird about talking to them because they're like, well, you don't have a reason. That's weird. But when you do feel depressed, it takes all your strength just to get the fuck out of the bed. Like, you don't want to get up, like trying to get up, and if you have a busy day, which this was my problem, is I used to pack my day full of stuff and make myself super busy so I didn't have time to be depressed. But sometimes you wake up and you don't have that energy, and then you have to go do those things, or you have to cancel, then you feel worse. And sometimes the easiest things, like you said, doing the dishes, I just can't because I have to go to work. I have all these other obligations. So then I end up neglecting myself. I know that when I'm depressed, my room gets crazy. Like, I call it a depression den. I'm like, it's bad in here, but I just can't. Like, I don't have energy. I don't have the capacity to do the things I need to do. when I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And I just don't, I don't think a lot of people understand how heavy it can be.
And that's funny. You should say you said that you keep yourself busy. You're trying to do as many things as possible to keep your mind occupied. I just saw one of your stories actually. It was really cool. How you should appreciate the present a little bit more, because there's a lot of people that just look straight into the future. It's always, and I'm one of those people. I'm even like, I'm just thinking, oh well, I'm doing Saturday or Sunday, like a few days early. I think everyone does that. How important is it for you, just in terms of mental health, to kind of really appreciate the present nowadays?
It's so important, and that's actually something that I really haven't understood that and felt it until very recently. I want to say this year, but it's still been a struggle. And I actually read this book on the way to Hawaii. Okay, this is an interesting story. I read this book called The Power of Now. I'm not quite done, but the whole book is basically just about embracing the present. And when you're not embracing the present, you're not living in the here and now. If you're depressed, you're thinking about the past and you're ruining. So many times I've been to Hawaii and I've been sitting on a beach and I'm just sad as fuck, and it sucks because I'm like, dang, I'm in the most beautiful place in the world and I can't appreciate it because my mind is just like clouded with things that are in the past. Or you're anxious and you're thinking about the things in the future, and that's what I would do too. I would either be depressed or I would be keeping myself busy, and I'm always thinking about this next competition or my vacation or this trip I'm going to go to or my fight, and I'm constantly thinking about that instead of this day. And then all of a sudden, like, I spent days not thinking about my day at all, and then when that event happens, I don't get to experience it because I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking about something else. So, my story about the book, I was reading the book and it was talking about how you can just start little simple tips on just being present. And I feel like in this day and age, the idea of sitting and doing nothing without your phone is like weird. It's weirder to sit without your phone than to sit on your phone and not look up for 10 minutes. Why is that normal? And that's crazy when you think about it. Because to me, I'm like, yeah, that person's weird. They're just sitting there. but my point of the story was the book was talking about how you're wasting, or all this beauty around you is wasted on you sometimes when you're not present. And I was reading the book on the plane, and it was like I did a little activity, and it was like just sit there and just listen to the sounds around you, listen to what you're doing, like what are your what's around you. And then I'm like, I'm in the fucking sky. I'm like above the clouds, and I was like, oh my god, how many times have I been on a plane and just not cared at all? How many times when you're going on a plane, what are you worried about? I don't want to be bored. I need to keep my mind occupied. And for the first time ever, I looked out the window and I was just like, man, I'm in the sky and it's beautiful, and no one on this plane cares. No one cares. And I wanted to tell everyone, like, look guys, we're in the sky, it's cool. And it was like such a silly moment, but it was so simple. And that was on my way to Hawaii, and I was like, okay, I'm going to the most beautiful place in the world. I'm gonna try my best to not waste it by being worried about the future and stressed about what happened already,
Yeah, that's how you should be. I think that book, it actually tells you not to read it all in one go as well, doesn't it? I think there's some.
And there's little
My sister told me to get that book
buttons.
actually. Yeah, she was like, you need to get this book. But there was also another quote that you mentioned, what you put, that I really really like. In fact, I thought it was a brilliant quote. So I'll just read it out. It just says, everyone wants to be the sun to brighten up someone's life, but why not be the moon to shine on someone's darkest hour? I thought that was a brilliant quote. I absolutely love it, in fact. So there's a few organizations out there called, Fight for the Forgotten. Former Justin Wren has founded. Is that something, similar you'd like to do as a goal in the future?
You know what? It's not something that I've planned, but it's always been the only thing I've known that I wanted to do is have my own gym. Like, that's my end goal, is to have my own gym and teach martial arts until I die. But I also want to help people, and I want to help people more than just like martial arts, because to me that's like surface level helping. Like, it helps a lot, but I want to help people that have gone through things that I've gone through. I want to help those people that feel like there's no way out or there's no hope. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, but yeah, that is a really good idea, and I want to. I just don't know how yet, but I would like to do something like that. I don't know if I wanted to help. I don't know. I don't want to, like, the thing I haven't figured out, like, who I want to help, because I'm like, I want to help a lot of people.
You're young anyway. You got time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask about your hair, because you had said that you shaved it off and you said you freed yourself from this attachment. What does that mean, to free yourself from this attachment?
Okay, so it means a lot of things. I wanted to shave my head for a long time. Like, when I started wrestling in high school, I was like 13, and my hair was getting pulled out because I had long hair, like, down to my hips or whatever, and it would get ripped out, and I have to fix it all the time. And I was like one of the only girls on the team, and I hated that I had to, like, take more time. I'm like, hold on, let me fix my hair, and they're like, oh, God, and I'm like, I know, this is stupid, but that's when I wanted to start shaving my head. But then I was like, I could never do that. That's crazy. And so I told myself I wouldn't. And then that urge was still there. And I always, like, would look at other girls with short hair, and I'm like, I wish I could do that, but I could never. And I would just never even consider it seriously. Like, I never thought I would really do it. And, like, I had boyfriends. I would tell them, like, I wish I could shave my head. And they're like, ugh, don't ever do that. That's disgusting. And I'd be like, oh, all right. And then I would listen to them. And this year, after 2020, which was the worst year in existence, I feel like it really put a lot of things into perspective for me. And I just wanted to let go. I wanted to let go of all the things that were holding me back. I wanted to let go of all the things that were not me, things that were hurting me. And it just worked out that I signed with the management company, and then they got my first pro fight. And I was like, you know what? I just want to go into this with intention. I want to go into it with the intent of giving it my all and living my life like the way I want it to. And I want to show everyone that I'm serious. And I just shaved it off, and I was so freaking scared because I love my hair. It was long, it was pretty, and I thought I was fully sure I was gonna look so ugly, and I was okay with that. That's why I was freeing myself of attachment of, like, who I thought I was. I thought that shaving my hair off, not my head. I thought shaving my hair off would change who I was. And change how people would see me, and it did, but I actually feel more like myself now, and it's not at all what I expected at all. I thought I was gonna have to find myself, but I did find myself. As soon as I shaved it off, I was like, wow, this is how I was meant to be, at least in this time.
Thanks for talking about
that. And
it
also, another one is I just wanted to practice, I want to remind myself of impermanence. Nothing is permanent, and a lot of my sadness comes from holding on to things that I can't hold on to. And so lots of times, like, it seems strange, but, like, something will happen, something dies, or an opportunity, I don't know, just things happen, and I get disappointed about it, and then I'm like, rubbing my head, and I'm like, nothing's permanent, Maraya. And then I'm like, oh well. And so it's like a little reminder, and I shave it every week, and I don't have to take care of it anymore. I have more time to do the things I want to do, because it did take a lot of time. So yeah.
So instead of reinventing yourself, you almost found yourself in some ways.
Yeah, I did both, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I also did this is funny too, like, there's so much that goes into, like, shaving my head. There's so much. There's a lot behind it. But another thing is like I was letting go of, like I said, letting go of things I didn't want to be. Like I used to just let people push me around, and people would be disrespectful to me, and I would just take it. And I was tired of it. I was tired of being too nice. I was tired of getting pushed around, and I was like, I'm gonna shave my head, and I have to act different. I was like, it's a statement. Like people are gonna look at you different, and I just like would, I don't know, I'd find myself in situations and I have a choice. Do I be who I was before and not be happy with it, or do I be uncomfortable and change? And then it was for the better. So I like joke about it. I'm like, no, shaved head Maraya will not take that shit. And so before I would, but now I'm like, no, we're better now.
That's so awesome. So just changing up gears a little bit. I mean, you've got a few, dream holiday destinations in mind, or just location wise.
Yeah.
So I particularly like Thailand. You had Thailand in your list. Now if you had a choice to go anywhere in the world next week, and you had to choose, which country would you go to?
Japan.
Japan. Nice. That's good.
Yeah, definitely Japan. That's my dream destination. I have Japanese. I've never gone, and I really want to go there and explore it someday. Like that's where I want to go most. As long as I can get there, I'll, be satisfied.
That's awesome. If you go to Japan, reach out to me. I'll give you some of. I was there for a couple of years ago, and I'll give you some of the cool things to check out and stuff like that. But could you imagine fighting in Japan? Like, is that one of the dreams? Fighting in Japan?
That is my number one dream right now. So like the post that he's talking about, I posted, and thank you for reading that. Because I posted it and I was like, there's a lot of stuff. I was like, I don't know if people are gonna read it. It's kind of personal, but kind of like law of attraction. I posted it and I was like, maybe someone will send me a trip to Thailand. I don't know. But the number one dream on that side was fight in Japan. Well, my MMA career, I'm just like going day by day, and I just want to see where it'll take me. I hope that it'll take me around the world, but my number one dream is to fight in Japan. I just think that would be so cool, and it would be cool like for my family. I come from a judo background. My mom is a judo black belt, and my grandfather was a 9th degree judo black belt, and he had his own judo dojo. And I have a couple cousins that went to the Olympics. So for me to embrace martial arts now and then, eventually go to, that country, that would be amazing to go there and fight for the Japanese people. That would just be so cool, more than just going to visit,
So I was wondering, are you kind of a fan of Pride by any chance? Pride FC?
Yeah, I've watched Pride. I haven't watched too much because, to be honest, I actually don't like to watch MMA.
Really? What?
That's interesting.
I know, it's so crazy, right?
Here, man. Why is that?
Okay, so I like watching it, and I have more time to watch it now. Basically, like I'm very self-aware now that I've gone to therapy. I'm always like peeling things back, and I'm like, why? It's not just because I get anxious watching it. When I watch it, I get really anxious, and it makes me feel bad that I'm not training. I'm like, why am I sitting here watching this when I could be out actually fighting? And like, it really, I don't have a lot of time to watch TV. I'm training all the time, and for the past few years, I was working in the gym, coaching in the gym, and training. So I'd be in the gym for like 8 to 12 to 14 hours a day, every day, and then Saturday night would come on and fights were on, and I'd just be like, I really just want to stay home. And when I would go out and watch, I like watching it, but like I said, I get really anxious because I'm like, man, I should be out training, but that's part of my for a long time I didn't feel like I could rest. I felt guilty resting and like having fun. So now, like I said, now I have more time and I have the capacity to watch it because I'm like, no, you don't need to be training all the time. You can rest
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah.
but also I'm a very emotional person, and this sounds so cheesy, but watching fights, like it's kind of draining for me because I know what it takes to go into it, and it's not just like just that fight, like it's months of their life and who knows what they went through. And then when I see somebody, I see them both, I see them win and I see them lose, and I feel both of their emotions. Like I'm happy for them, but then I see the other person and I'm like, oh my god, I can feel their pain. And to hear people, like hear fans and stuff, it's hard for me to like hear it and not be affected by it because they're just like, they don't even regard them as people, they're just fighters. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me, but over time, and I've grown a lot, I can like, I'm over that, and now I can watch it and enjoy it more. But yeah, the past few years I have not actually been watching many fights. And then when I got into MMA, I never really watched it that much before I got into it. So I started doing MMA in like 2015. So yeah.
I don't think you're alone in that. Other fighters have talked about this. I could be mistaken, but I think like Hickson Gracie said he also doesn't really like watching fighting as well, and he's one of the grandfathers of the sport.
Yeah.
Considering that you didn't watch too much MMA or you don't enjoy watching it now, was there a fighter who inspired you to get into it, or was it someone else's influence? What was the main reason that you got into it?
And I got into it. No, I didn't have any fighters that inspired me to get in it. Not really. Well, that's not true. I remember like turning on some UFC fights like when I was in high school. I had started wrestling, and that was back in the days when like there weren't many girl fights, and that's
Yeah.
when you remember they would like always weigh in the bikinis. Like you couldn't, like they couldn't wear, it was weird. Like they had to wear bikinis. You couldn't just wear whatever they wanted. And I remember watching those girl fights and being like, dang, that's so crazy. Uh, I remember thinking, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could get in the ring. I don't think I could like punch people. I was like, wrestling is one thing, but striking, like, I don't know. And I was like, even jujitsu, it sounds intense. But watching those girls fight and Ronda, I wasn't really a Ronda fan, to be honest, just because I don't like the attitude and like, I don't like the ego on it. But she did bring so much attention to the sport, and it was cool seeing a woman getting in there and getting praise for being like a strong girl. And there weren't a lot of people like that I've seen like that, and it did empower me to like continue wrestling when I didn't. I was the only girl on the team for a while, and that was hard. But that experience wrestling, and I was the only girl on the team, that really like pushed me and like lit a fire in me to like continue going, because so many people doubted me and told me I couldn't do it. I just wanted to prove them wrong. And then I started doing jujitsu and I liked it. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I can fight. And so I started striking, and I just never wanted to stop, really. I never want to like stop and live a normal life. I just want to keep training and living a martial arts life.
Was there like a soul influence or a soul situation or anything in particular that really spurred, your martial arts training in particular, or was it just, would you say it's a combination of things?
It's a combination of things because, like I said, I was a gymnast growing up, and then I did do some judo at my grandfather's dojo when I was a kid. I did it for 3 years. I got up to a green belt, and then I was training in gymnastics really hard at the time, so I had to make a choice between judo or gymnastics, and I chose gymnastics. And I think my grandpa was pretty sad about that. And um, once I finished and I started wrestling, wrestling. Well, I think the gymnastics set me up to be a good wrestler, a good fighter, like mindset and physically. But mentally, I was driven to martial arts and wrestling because like my abuse had just happened. And at the time, I kept saying like I needed an outlet, but it was actually like I needed something to distract me from what was going on in my head. And wrestling was a really good distraction because I could, grind so much. And it's like now I know that's why I got into it. But the way I felt, like at the time I had lost my gymnastics identity and I had just been abused, and so I just felt really like weak-minded, and I wanted to get that power back. And when I tried to join the wrestling team, they told me, no, you can't join, girls can't wrestle, it's too hard. And I was like, what? and so that, like, I didn't even really care about wrestling. My friend was like, hey, you should try wrestling with me. And I'm like, what? Girls don't wrestle? Like, I'd never even heard of that. And he's like, I think you can. He's like, I bet you could try out. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I started looking it up, and I started seeing like a couple of videos of girls like in the Midwest on the team. And I'm like, what? If that girl could do it, I could do it. Gymnastics is so much harder than this. And I went to try out, and the coach told me, you can't try out. And it turned into a whole thing. My mom had to come in and talk to him to let me try out. And that just like lit a fire on me, and I was like, I'm not fucking quitting now. I'm gonna stay all 4 years, actually. So that yeah, and so that's what started my martial arts journey again. So yeah, it came back to it.
No, that's wonderful. And that makes this question particularly prudent in terms of what advice would you have for someone else who's starting out in the sport? Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but just keep going. My coach told me, he's like, it doesn't take much to make it in this sport. Like, it takes a lot, but what it takes is just not quitting. And you think about it, like, it's so simple. You just have to keep going, and it's going to be hard, and give yourself some time. Like, if you need a break, give yourself a break. If you need it, not if you feel like it. Sometimes you're going to feel like, I just don't want to train, but you don't need a break. You should train. So having good discipline, being dedicated. If you're doing MMA, you got to be dedicated to, every aspect of it, get good fundamentals in all aspects of it, and then just don't give up and follow your dreams. Whatever your goals are, I believe that you could do it if you put your mind to it and you believe it. An MMA coach from San Diego, his name is Eric. I talked to him recently, and he told me something that stuck with me. He said, you can do anything you put your mind to if you're willing to be uncomfortable doing or going for it and doing it. And I was like, wow, that is so profound, because everyone says like, oh, you can do anything you put your mind to, but that just sounds so simple. But if you're just willing to be uncomfortable, then you will grow exponentially from that. So don't listen to the naysayers. So many people told me this was a bad idea. Why are you doing jiu-jitsu? Or why are you joining the wrestling team on the boys team? Why are you doing jiu-jitsu? Why are you trying to get in the cage? Why are you trying to do that as a profession? You're never going to do this. Blah, 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 blah. What about your face? So many people. And I'm so glad I never listened to any of those. Because look at me now. I'm out here in Hawaii living the dream.
Yeah, that's
But it took a long time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you. That's such a brilliant answer. I feel a bit bad for asking you a silly question now, but I'll ask you for the bit of a sillier question. We ask everyone this question. What your signature brand would be. So you've got Dustin Poirier. He's got his signature hot sauce. You got Connor. He's got his signature whiskey. What would your signature brand be, Maraya?
That's a good question. Like a product?
It could be anything. It could
anything.
We've had someone say marijuana rolls before,
Yeah.
wraps before, and men's underwear. Like, there's loads of different kinds of answers we've had.
That is a really good question. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's no like product that I want to push or anything there. I just want to push like the word that I'm trying to spread, that is my brand, is just trying to help people reach their potential of what they want, I just want people to be okay with who they are and know that they can grow. I guess that's my brand. I just want to help people understand that they can better themselves. Like all they need is to just tap into what they already have. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's hard to like put that into a simpler answer.
No, that's fine, man. I like the fact that you actually thought about this.
Yeah.
We've not had thoughtful answers all the time. Trust me.
The signature brand is always. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just trying. Like this year, I've just been trying to, like I said, let go of a lot of different things, and so I've like been living out of a suitcase for the past like 6 weeks, and it shows me like how many like I don't need so much crap. You know what I mean? So I don't want to like put out more crap.
You're trying not to be materialistic, and a guy's asking you, so what do you want to push out that's materialistic?
If anything, I want people to like let go of their shit too, and let's just sit and be.
No, that's great. You have like you have no major, like you were talking about with the hair. That is an attachment that you've gotten rid of, and the signature brand is always an extension of yourself. So that is the best answer that you could have given. Now you've made a lot of progress in your journey and spreading the word. Looking into the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you see yourself as an MMA fighter, and where do you see yourself personally?
As an MMA fighter, in 5 years, I hope to have a contract with a big organization. I would like to fight for ONE FC. That would tie into my dream. I would love to fight in Japan, and so they throw on really good shows in Asia. I would love to travel the world and fight.
One shirt.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so that would be really awesome. Hopefully I'll have a contract and I'll be traveling and fighting professionally. 10 years from now, maybe I'll still be fighting. Maybe I won't be. I don't want to push my body to the point where I'm like damaging myself. I want to like live out my potential. I wanted to see how far I can go, because I do believe I can go pretty far and I can like be the best in the world. But 10 years from now, I'll be 36. So who knows? Maybe people are fighting longer and longer. But by then, I would like to have my own gym, and I'd like to set roots somewhere, you know, where I want to live forever, maybe. And I want to have my own gym and teach kids and women. I want to teach men too, but my emphasis is going to be on children and women. And I don't know where that's going to be, but I would like to have a really good program, have a really good environment. Hopefully I'll have family then. And yeah, then I could just continue on, just teaching martial arts, spreading the word, and yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I hugely appreciate your time and hugely appreciate the conversation. We're just going to do a couple programming notes, and then you'll get the last word in here. So my name's Tim Wheaton. You can check me out, Tim Wheaton MMA, on Twitter or Instagram. We are the Calf Kick Sports. He is Ash, MMA.CKS. Make sure to check him out. And we're so grateful to have Samuraiya Miller on the show today. Last thing, you get the last word here. Where can people find more of you? Give them everything. What's going on in your life?
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the questions that you guys asked. Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, this was a really, really good conversation. I haven't done many podcasts, but I feel really like comfortable with you guys, and I'm glad I could talk about a lot of things that you guys asked me about. But you can find me on Instagram at Samuraiya_MMA. I don't have any other social media. I did make an OnlyFans recently. I started it yesterday actually, so I think the name on there is Maraya MMA, or just go to my Instagram and the link's on the bio. So you could check that out. I don't have any other social media, but yeah, Instagram is the best way to reach me. And going back to the people that I'm trying to reach out to and help, like I said, my main points are: you're not alone in this. There are other people out there that are willing to help you, like myself. So there are resources that we're going to put under, and you should reach out to somebody that you trust, reach out to a resource. And if you still don't have anybody, you can reach out to me, and I'll do my best to help you in some way that I can.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.